here with us who have been tortured, who have survived torture, who are victims of this crime by various perpetrators around the world. And we're going to have one of them talk to you, and we're going to have all of them come up here so that you can see that these are not demons from another planet breathing fire who cannot be spoken to and had to be tortured for the good of humanity. These are human beings with stories to tell. I want to bring up Patricio Rice of the Torture, Abolition, and Survivors Support Coalition, and I'll let Patricio introduce to you a number of torture survivors who should come right up here. Patricio Rice.
Thank you very much, and I'm really very happy to be with you this morning. And several of us have come. I was a victim of torture in Argentina, together with my wife, but here are many of my colleagues and friends, so I would like them to come up and present themselves. We have Sister Diana, who was tortured, U.S. citizens, tortured in Guatemala, Maria Elena from Guatemala, Maria, come on Maria from El Salvador, who's been living as an exile in Los Angeles. I get confused with the names, sorry. From the Congo, Sudan, from Arisha, from Ethiopia, Iran, come on Maria, Mario Avila from Guatemala, Ibrahim from Guinea, West Africa, Grace from Uganda, and we'll wait a minute. Okay. Well, come on. So we have from the Cameroon, Cecile, and from the Cameroon, then from Ethiopia, Mirna from El Salvador, Sol from El Salvador, Orlando from the Philippines, who's one of the founders with Sister Diana and some others. Who else? Oh, you're out from the Ethiopia.
Marvin and Melanie from the Congo.
Well, there are many more. Many more, of course, cannot be. You can see we are all terrible criminals that we have to face. We have all, in our own circumstances, one day like you, we were walking the streets to working. I was working, organizing in shanty towns. Maria in El Salvador was working. Her brother was a political activist in Guatemala. Mario was an artist. Mervyn in Guatemala. Ibrahim in West Africa and the Congo. One day we were taken off the streets, put into police stations. We were hooded, in my own case, put into the boot of a car. I was taken with a young church worker. She was only 18 years old. We were taken to a secret detention center where we were humiliated, beaten, asphyxiated, urinated on, taken out, interrogated, electricity, deprived of everything, of food, of water, all with the objective, at least in our case and different cases, to humiliate us, to get information about our friends and colleagues so that they would be submitted to the same humiliation, the same suffering, and also and above all to create terror and fear in the people and our families and all of the social organizing. This is torture. This is a crime. We say it is a crime. It can never be permitted. It's been going on too long, torture in the world. In the 60s, the French government authorized torture in Algeria. Then in Latin America, we had it with the famous bamboo cages in Vietnam. We've had it in almost in my own country, in Ireland, when the European Court condemned the 5 so-called systems of torture in 1970, almost 40 years ago. And yet it continues. And with the Bush administration, it made torture a tool in the war against terrorism. Torture with all the elements, secret detention, the denial of the habeas corpus writ, no information given out, the humiliation. So this is where we began to organize. Thanks to the work of survivors everywhere around the world, over 12 years ago, there was a convention adopted by the United Nations against torture, which the United States government and the states ratified. It's a convention against torture. Almost at the same time, the UN set up an international day for support of survivors and victims of torture. This community, we began to organize at that time to celebrate that day with a vigil of 24 hours in front of the White House. And that's what we'll be doing this Saturday. And we invite you all to come and to be with us, to hear our stories and to give us strength together. Finally, and this is probably the most important, torture, we are absolutely delighted in the different countries in Argentina when we received that President Obama, the news that that torture would not be part of his administration. But that has to be made effective in our own countries. Only recently, we as torture victims in Argentina are now able to go into the courts and accuse our perpetrators. It took us 25 years of struggle to get that, to end impunity. This is happening in Chile, but unfortunately, Pinochet, one of the biggest torturers in America, died a peaceful death. We could say peaceful, well, that's a way of saying it, but was not condemned as he should have been. We cannot permit torture perpetrators to live normal lives. They must be prosecuted. So this is what we say. We have to prosecute, and we totally support this initiative to get a special investigator, a special prosecutor appointed. Torture is a crime. All of those involved, and in torture involved many doctors, many professionals, sociologists, psychologists, many who study to say and have studied. We have seen many of the very prestigious institutions in this country corrupt themselves because they have studied and have approved the use of torture. From Harvard University, I am surprised, years ago scandalized, to see out of Harvard University some professionals, so-called professionals, because they are criminals that authorize torture. We say no. And as survivors and our families, not only all of those who have supported, and also religious leaders who have supported torture as well, we condemn them. You cannot have chaplains accompanying people who are committing torture. So that's why we say torture never again. This is our struggle, and we are delighted to be here with you, and we are empowered by your presence, and together we will triumph.